The Sodor Railway Adventures, Episode 7, The Cleanup Chaos. It was the following day, and Nafford Station was a busier place than ever. Engines were going back and forth, with cranes, cleanup trucks that would carry the various amount of loads, and many other various things that would help the cleanup process move along. Toby was chuffing in with James. James had just been rescued from the various tragedies, so to speak, that occurred at the crash site. And Sir Topham had words for James. James, he said, you've been quite the brave engine. He said, trying to go through this entire process, but however, you will have to be repaired immediately. Yes, sir, said James. Let's move along, said Toby, as he pulled James right out of the station. The accident had affected both gauges, as Peter Sam on the other side of the bridge was helping clean its process as the crane was on Thomas's side of the bridge. He was there trying to help out. And Edward arrived shortly with Rocky to help rebuild the bridge back to its normal self. The work was very tedious, and Henry was going back and forth bringing goods and taking away messes that the accident had caused. As the workmen were laying down a new foundation for the bridge, Henry came along with the next piece of track to help finish off the bridge. Easy does it, said Thomas, as they were lowering the track right into place. And once it was in, Edward backed up with Rocky. All right, now we should see if it's safe to cross. Thomas was the first one to go. He left the breakdown train for the little engines behind. He chuffed along the track. Oh boy, said Thomas. And once he cleared the track, the workmen were relieved. The bridge was complete. As for Duncan, he wasn't forgotten in his sighting. Henry took him along the train, and they were taking him down to the works, along with James. Henry dropped off Duncan at the works, as they were still repairing James, but once they had finished repairing James, then Duncan was next. However, the yard was a mess. It was full with cranes, leftover freight cars of the debris, and various other amounts of things. Duck eventually arrived with Annie and Clarabelle, which was originally Thomas' train before the mishap with Thomas and Duncan. Goodness gracious, said Sir Topham Hatt. Duck, I'll need your help. My help? Yes, as you can see, the yard is chock full of these cranes. I can agree with you, sir. This is quite the mess. Yes, and I wish Percy were here, but sadly he is not. I do not know where he went. We need to find that out. Oh yes, sir, said Duck. But anyway, I'll need you to help me reorganize most of the things here. You can leave your train. I'll have Duncan's pick it up. All right, sir, said Duck. When Duck coupled up to his trucks, he realized something. Wait, said Duck. Duncan is at the repair shop. Uh-oh. Well, it's too late for that now, said Duck. I can't tell him now. He's driven off, he said. Duck thought to himself. I'll know, he said. I'll get Toby. He'll know how to take the train, he said. And he chuffed off. However, Gordon didn't know about the giant mess in the yard. He pulled in with his freight cars, and he was not in a good mood. He had been pulling freight cars all day instead of the express. He was really frustrated. Oh, he said, these freight cars have been causing such trouble all day lately. I'm just going to drop them off here and head up to the shed. I'm going to take a nice long rest. The worst was yet to come. Diesel came in with a long line of freight cars, all filled with the rubble and the debris of the accident at the bridge. Henry had left all of the debris at the quarry. Diesel was quite furious. How absurd, said Diesel. All of this mess, and they didn't even have to put it in the yard, so I have to do it for them. And he oiled off. Duck eventually did get Toby, and Toby made his way to the yard, but what he found was absurd. Goodness gracious, said Toby. Look at all of this mess. The yard was in shambles. Trucks overflowed the entire yard. It was a mess. How are we ever going to solve this, said Toby. I better fetch Sir Topham Hatt before I can do anything. And he went to go do that. Eventually, Toby led Sir Topham Hatt to the yard. Wow, you were right, said Sir Topham Hatt. This place is a ginormous mess. I'll have to fetch engines to solve this issue, he said. But we'll have to do it at night. It's way too late. How about the flying caper, sir? Said Toby. That is an indeed good idea, said Sir Tom Hat. I will consider that, and most likely that'll be the decision. So Sir Tom Hat went to his office and started deciding engines that could pull the flying caper as well as the rest of the other loads.